Where we're sitting at the moment, 12 months ago we'd been in the heart of a yew tree that was covered in ivy, and we've cleared this whole space. We've discovered a shed, cleaned up the compost heaps, but also had a tree felled up at the ruins of the old church, which we've planked up into these benches which we're sat on, and an outdoor altar. So it's creating that outdoor worship space that, yes, we can use for services, but it's also a quiet place for people to come. It's for that mindfulness and well-being and meditation. My house is looking out onto this, and most of the time I see people sitting here.
We've created a lot of wild areas in the churchyard, so it's very important to us to look after it, and we've actually let the grass grow at the moment so that the wildflowers will grow. And we feel that it combines, you know, the growth of flowers and the growth of the church and everything.
Particularly in the spring, we had a wonderful array of celandines and primroses. So we want to share this with the community.
We've got an open day and a flower count and a bit of a get-together for all the locals.
Since the first sort of lockdown, we noticed that a lot more people are sort of walking around the village, and the churchyard was very sort of overgrown. So we started managing it to try and recover it from the ivy that had covered everything.
Well, it has a big impact on the locals in the village, the residents, because as you can see, there's lots of footpaths going through the churchyard, and many come every day. There's a circular walk you can take, and they do cut through the churchyard, and they come and sit and enjoy the peace and quiet. It's brought the community together.
What we've seen is by us taking that first step of noticing some people walking through and then starting to go, hey, let's create something here for the community. The community is suddenly looking at the church and going, what is this all about? So we're not yet seeing that growth on Sundays, but what we are seeing is a development at our midweek Eucharist of how do we create a liturgy that's a bit more Celtic-y, a bit more earthy, that speaks to us about creation, and there'll be steps like that sort of Forest Church and Wild Church along the way that lead people into that relationship with God, which is what it's all about at the end of the day.
So I think it's important for the church to be part of the village and the village to be part of the church.
We've used what's been happening in the churchyard to ask the congregation about things like the Eco Church Award, and we filled in what we were already doing and discovered we were already a bronze award, and that was before doing simple things like changing to green energy as well. The Eco Church Awards are a tool. The aim is not to tick a box and get an award. It's to really take seriously our duty as Christians to care for God's creation.
Even right from the start, the beginning of lockdown last year, we were seeing people coming that we hadn't met before. It's lovely. It's a great delight. We do everything with coffee and cake, which seems to help things along.
We're now looking to launch a wild church, which will be a sort of first step in faith for people to come along, and we'll have a fire pit around here and get families involved in how do we find the Creator within His creation.